Story 1. The Echoes Beneath Elkhorn Park. They said Elkhorn National Park was beautiful in autumn. Crimson leaves danced through the fog, like embers caught in slow wind. But no one mentioned the silence, how thick it was, how it pressed into your chest like water. Maya was a photojournalist, chasing forgotten places, and Elkhorn had just reopened after a year-long closure for wildlife research. Local whispers told of hikers vanishing, of strange sounds under the earth. She didn't buy it. Campfire tales, perfect atmosphere for a story. She parked just before dusk and began hiking toward the old ranger station. Her GPS blinked erratically, refusing to find signal. Still she pressed on. Around her the trees grew taller, bark warped as if screaming mid-transformation. She snapped shots of nests buried under the roots, strangely geometric, like woven twine made of bone. Night fell fast. That's when she heard it, a hollow whistling, soft at first, almost melodic. She turned. No wind, no movement. Then crunching behind her. "Hello," she called. No response. Only another crunch. She swung her flashlight towards the sound. Between the two pines stood a figure, gaunt and pale, its eyes hollow. His eyes were hollow sockets, leaking thick black liquid. Its body shimmered strangely, like light was being bent around it. She ran. Branches sliced at her face. The whistling grew louder, now accompanied by low, thunderous knocks, like something enormous. She ran. Branches sliced at her face. The whistling grew louder, now accompanied by low, thunderous knocks, like something enormous slamming into caravan walls beneath the soil. She reached the ranger station. It was abandoned, layered in dust and claw marks inside. She found a journal. Day 112. It echoes louder at night, not through air, through the ground. I don't think it's a creature. I think the park is trying to speak. Suddenly the radio crackled. "Maya," a voice rasped. "Downstairs before it finds you." She shouldn't have listened, but something about the voice, it mimicked her mother's tone from when Maya was 5, begging her not to go near the forest edge. There was no downstairs, not until she saw a trapdoor hidden beneath the rug. Cold air poured out. The whistling stopped. She descended slowly. The steps were wet, the walls pulsed with veins, faintly glowing. At the bottom was a cavern, filled with mirrors, hundreds, arranged in a circle. In each one Maya saw a version of herself, screaming, dead, fused with bark. One version turned its head and smiled. She stumbled back, flashlight flickering. Behind her something slithered along the wall, a shape made of shadows and clicking bones. She ran again up the stairs, out of the black woods, but they weren't the same. The trees bent inward, forming walls. The forest had shifted. The earth whistled below her feet like a breathing lung. Maya was never found. Weeks later, weeks later, hikers reported hearing voices near the ranger station, calling their names, and voices they trusted. And sometimes the echoes from beneath didn't wait for nighttime. Story 2. Where the stars don't shine. Elias loved the night. He camped across dozens of parks, chasing perfect star photography. But Karen Ridge National Park was different, remote, barely documented. Rangers rarely spoke of it, as if it were a place swallowed by silence. Legend said a meteor struck it a century ago. The crater never cooled. He arrived at twilight, sitting up near the edge of the ridge, overlooking the valley. Trees reached upward unnaturally, some bent at perfect right angles. No birds, no wind. Just him, the stars, and the silence. His drone captured some footage for an hour until it lost signal above the crater. It hovered, then plummeted. Elias cursed. The crater was technically off limits, but curiosity whispered. He packed his flashlight and descended. The path was slick, carved with obsidian-like stone. At the bottom was a depression filled with mist and shattered roots. Something glowed faintly beneath a soft, pulsating light. He crept closer. It wasn't a meteor, not anymore. Stone had split open to reveal a mass of black tendrils, coiled like nerves, humming against the air. Elias knelt, mesmerized. The light flickered once, then shut off. Darkness swallowed the crater. Then came the hissing. He turned his flashlight, jerking back on. Shadows moved unnaturally. One tendril redirected, slicing through a tree silently. Another rose from the ground and tipped and glimmering serrated edge. Elias ran, but the crater wasn't where he left it. The rim had folded in on itself, trees now twisting towards the center, forming a spiral wall. The terrain shifted like it was alive. At the top of the ridge, his campsite was gone. Instead, there stood a person, or something like one. The figure was thin, long-limbed, with skin like cracked stone. His face shimmered, reflecting Elias's own terrified expression. A smile formed deep and wrong. The creature raised its finger to its mouth. Shh! Then he blacked out. He woke up at dawn, at the visitor center, somehow covered in mud, his tan repitched. Park staff said he was found wandering the edge, muttering about the stars moving wrong. His camera's memory card was empty, but the drone, its footage, was intact. Every frame showed the sky above Karen Ridge shifting in incomprehensible ways. At exactly 2:40 a.m., one star blinked, then smiled. Story 3. Beneath the Hollow Pines. People say the pines in Graver Hollow National Park never shed their needles, thick, green, and still like tombstones. They watch, always watching. Gwen wasn't scared. She was a ranger, skeptical, pragmatic, and no stranger to wild tales. But the Hollow Pines had a reputation that clung to it like a second skin. Over 2 dozen hikers lost in the last decade. No remains found. One ranger had gone missing too, her predecessor. What brought Gwen wasn't a search party. It was paperwork. Inventory check of remote cabins, routine and boring. Her destination, Cabin 6, deep in the North Quadrant. The trail was marked but narrow, winding through overgrown mosses, gnarled branches. It felt wrong. The trees looked older than any she'd seen before. Not aged, but ancient. A thick mist hugged the forest floor, curling around her boots. She radioed HQ, halfway in. Static answered. Fine, probably just the hills. Cabin 6 appeared like a ghost. Gray, sun-starved, its roof its roof cloaked in ivy. Gwen stepped onto the porch. The wood groaned, her flashlight flickered once. A shadow passed beneath the window inside, but she was alone. She drew her siren and pushed in. The cabin smelled of rot and cold stone. Dust stirred like breath. Her boots echoed on the floorboards. And there on the wall was a map. Not printed, but drawn, etched into the wood with deep, angry gouges. It showed Graver Hollow, but wrong. Trails twisted into impossible shapes. Rivers flowed uphill, and in the dead center, a hollow circle pulsed in red ink. Cabin 6. Then came the whispers, not from outside, not from inside, but from beneath. Gwen dropped to a knee. Beneath the wrapped rug was a trap door. She hesitated. Her heart thumped against her ribs. She should have turned back, filed her report, claimed the trail was blocked, but something pulled her, a compulsion, like she had been expected. She opened it, steps led downward, not wood, but stone. Cold seeped into her bones with every step. The air thickened, humming quietly, and at the bottom a room, circular. Its walls were mirrors, hundreds of them. Gwen approached one. Her reflection blinked. She backed away, but every mirror now showed her walking forward, reaching out and touching grass. Then she screamed. Then they screamed, all of them. Gwen turned and ran, but the stairwell was gone. Behind her, mirrors, shattered, leaking black mist, and twisted. She screamed, shot into the darkness. The bullet vanished, and then light. She woke in the woods, lying on pine needles. Cabin 6 was nowhere to be found. Her radio crackled. All units, be advised. Cabin 6 marker has vanished. Do not proceed north to North Quadrant. Repeat, do not proceed. Last known contact, Ranger Gwen Hale, missing 48 hours. 48 hours! Her watch said otherwise. It was still the same day. She stumbled toward the main trail, but every mile felt like it rewrote itself. Landmarks vanished, paths looped, trees began to whisper. Eventually she emerged, screaming, filthy, arms torn, eyes wide and unfocused. Staff took her in. She never spoke of what happened in cabin 6. She never spoke of what happened in cabin 6, but sometimes, late at night, she would sketch maps on the walls, etched in angry gouges, and always they showed a circle, a hollow one,